game streamers and creators are the new superstars.
I think the first big opportunity is Studio Plays. Maybe where is the next play simple?
India has almost 500 million gamers, if you can believe it. There is a lot more to India gaming than RMG.
I think what's happened now is that some of the stereotypes are getting broken.
There are multiple platforms today beyond App Store and Play Store which have reached significant distribution scale. There are exciting opportunities for studios and platforms to build on top of these virtual worlds like Roblox, Fortnite, create games and experiences and distribute their games through that.
What we are looking for is gaming studios who are identifying categories much earlier in their growth cycle.
As I said, I'm a gamer, but maybe I'm betraying my age by saying I just can't understand the fascination with watching someone else play. How is it that this is this massive a segment, and how is it going to play out in the India context? Okay, good. Sorry, I got that. Okay, what's up? Thank you. Hello. Yeah, what did I do? Okay, let's start. Hello, and welcome to SummitUp by Elevation Capital, a series where we talk about the emerging themes and opportunities within the India startup ecosystem and our thesis on how we see some of these playing out in the coming years. Today, we talk about gaming, a space that we have been deeply excited about for several years. We were early partners of Play Simple when they just had 2 titles, and we continue to partner with them to the point where they got acquired for $360 million by Swedish giant MTG, which was the largest cash exit in venture in India, let alone gaming. Since then, we have had the good fortune to partner with a lot of category-defining companies in this space, including IndieGG, Probo, Flex Labs, and several more. Today, I have Mayank and Kshitij from the gaming practice with us to talk about how we see this opportunity play out in India in the coming years. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Excellent. Let's get started. This is a super exciting topic for me. Gaming is dear to me. I've been a gamer throughout my life. I had an Atari when I was 6 years old. I used to game a fair bit for the longest time till I had kids, and then I've stopped for the past 5 years, right? But even for someone like me who's fairly into the overall scene, and I've read this multiple times, right? The fact that gaming is bigger than Bollywood, Hollywood, bigger than music, and just to be able to wrap your head around how big and massive a cultural phenomenon gaming is, it is difficult to comprehend. What drives this scale of gaming?
So, Vishy, let me give you some anecdotes. So, gaming today is at the center of cultural relevance, right? More than 40% of the world's population are gamers. And if you see, I'll give you a few examples, right? Like, let's take some nostalgic, relatable IP like Monopoly, which used to be a board game, now is a mobile game. And that mobile game is doing more than $1 billion revenue run rate today, right? Game streamers and creators are the new superstars. So if you see, there was a Twitch streamer called XQC who signed a $100 million deal recently, which is equivalent to a LeBron James in basketball, right? There was a virtual concert by Travis Scott recently, which had 27 million attendees all over the world, right? So people are hanging out inside games today. And there are multiple other things happening as well. Actually, just this month, Disney has announced that they will invest $1.5 billion into Epic Games to create virtual experiences within Fortnite, right? So there is a confluence of both legacy media formats coming into the new age, and it's all through gaming. So because of this, because gaming is at the center of cultural relevance, we are seeing immense funding flow, we are seeing large outcomes across multiple subsectors, and that's what keeps it exciting.
Awesome. And it continues to grow also, right? I think it's outstripping again its peers in the cultural business, growing at anywhere between 50 to 20% CAGR is what it's projected. So what do you think is driving this growth in gaming?
See, I think, Vishy, while this phenomena of gaming being a big source or a big sink of time for people has always been there, I think what's happened now is that some of the stereotypes are getting broken. Earlier, you used to say that hardcore gaming is 20 to 25-year-old, maybe college students, early jobbers, and women are only casual gamers. But those lines are blurring now. You have women who have 100 million followers on YouTube and they stream playing BGMI. You have men, you see a lot of taxi drivers in Bangalore who are playing Candy Crush, right? And you have kids joining the gaming revolution when they are 8 years, 10 years old. So I think the audience for gaming has become much bigger. What are games doing to attract this audience? So I think there are two dimensions on which things are happening. One is just making it easier to access games, and two, keeping the users longer in the game, just increasing the longevity of the game. So if you look at the games that we used to play when we were kids, I think a lot of them were just pay to play. Then came along free to play, where you just start playing for free, and if you want to upgrade, you pay. And then there is this whole live ops engine that's running in the background to keep creating content for people to be excited about it. What's also happened is some of the titles that were very, very popular on one platform have started migrating to other platforms. So Call of Duty on the big screen, on laptops, is now a mobile game and has huge following. COD Mobile is huge. Along with that, what's happened is that new platforms have started to emerge. People are modifying their games. These platforms, as modding platforms are there, or you can create full experiences, full games on a Minecraft or a Roblox. So a lot of this new content is being created by users themselves. And it's not only developer that needs to create the content. I think the last one is just on distribution. Apple and Google still have a large force to distribute the games. But now there are new distribution platforms like streamers themselves. They are probably larger source of downloads for some of the games in their early days than these platforms that exist already. So I think these put together are giving this impetus to gaming more than where it is today.
Yeah, I fully agree with Mayank. And just to add a few things, like all of these, whatever Mayank said, hold true for India as well, right? But there are few more nuances I would like specifically for India. So there are 3-4 points that interest us specifically about the Indian market, right? And we are very excited. So first one is the demand for games in India is very high. So India has almost 500 million gamers, if you can believe it, right? Which is huge. A lot of these are mobile gamers, but still, like, the demand for games is very high, and India is one of the largest destinations globally for new install base. Second, the depth of talent in India has also been growing significantly. So global studios have been investing in Indian talent. Second, the number of local Indian studios has almost grown 25x in the last 5 to 6 years. So the culmination of both high demand and increasing depth of talent is creating good outcomes in India. So these outcomes are making the market more attractive, right? Which means more funding flow. So we have seen almost 7x growth in the funding flow from 2015-16 era to now, which is crazy, right? And one more point I would like to make, Vishy, is that there is more to gaming in India than RMG. While we are very excited about real money gaming plays and we continue to look out for them, I want to highlight that there is a lot more in the market, right? RMG games have established a large behavior of users who are willing to pay for these games. So while there may be regulatory headwinds in this space, it just means that it will take probably longer to evolve, right? So we believe that there is a lot more to India gaming than RMG.
Awesome. Let's get deeper into that then, Mayank. So what are the spaces specifically within gaming that excite us?
Sure. So before I talk about things that are beyond RMG, I want to emphasize that RMG is still a very interesting opportunity. Yes, temporarily, maybe things are TBD. We still need to figure out how the regulations play out. But it's a large opportunity. The willingness of people to pay for RMG is very, very real. So we continue to be excited and continue to look for teams that are building in the RMG space. Now coming to beyond RMG. I think the first big opportunity is studio plays, just people building gaming studios. Maybe where is the next play simple? We are keen to look for some of those opportunities. Second is people building on alternate distribution channels. And I alluded to some of those like a Roblox or a Fortnite or a Minecraft or even Facebook gaming. These are becoming very large opportunities away from the Play Store and the app stores of the world. So is someone building games on these new platforms? These are still Unknown entities, still a little bit for people to figure out, but something large could be built over there. Third is just building gaming infra. With so many game studios coming out, they need infra. Not everybody wants to build their full infra right from bottom up, right? There are guys who are very, very good at game design and art. They just want to focus on that. Let somebody else build the infra. So we're looking for opportunities in that space. I think the last one is just gamer and audience engagement. So while there are people who are now streaming and building games, audience wants to engage with them. Audience wants to talk to them. Audience maybe wants to pay them. So who's building this platform for gamers and audience to engage, or even helping? Gaming is a full-time business. It's not a gig that you're doing. For some people, they do it professionally. So if you're doing it professionally, you need like a full tooling solution. You are like an enterprise and you need all your SaaS products. Who's building those SaaS products for gamers? I think these 4 big themes are what excite us, and we're looking for great teams in these areas.
Awesome. Let's get deeper into gaming studios. That really intrigues me, right? Because again, I think we would have faced similar questions even back with Play Simple in 2016, saying how are large casual gaming studios serving for the world getting built out of India, right? And I'm sure that those questions still remain. So what makes us believe that huge gaming studios can get built out of India?
So I think when we invested in Play Simple, there were a lot of questions that were asked internally. And a lot of people that I spoke to at that point in time said, how can a studio become big? They proved it, that it can be done. You can build a world-class studio sitting here in India. I think some of those ingredients have become even better for gaming studios to come out of India. For example, there are now, 20,000 developers in India. By just the nature, a lot of these people are very avid gamers. So there is a big talent pool available for gaming companies to hire from. The other thing that's very true is that now there is a very large gamer population in India to test your games with. So you don't need to really start acquiring users in outside geographies where the CACs are likely to be very high. For you even to get a sense whether this game works, what kind of retention metrics, what kind of in-app purchase metrics I'm likely to get. There is a good test bed that exists out here where you can go after these categories. When I think about what categories should people be chasing? See, I think maybe 5-6 years back, it was okay to say you pick a category which is, let's say, $100-200 million global revenue. It will still not be very crowded. You build a game that does some things better than another game out there, and you can build a very large outcome. Today, that's unfortunately not true. It's far more competitive. So what we are looking for is gaming studios who are identifying categories much earlier in their growth cycle. So are you finding a category which is today maybe $40-50 million in top line globally? But that's where the real opportunity is, because nobody is looking over there. Why that's important today is because the CACs are very high because of the retargeting clampdowns that have come from Apple first, and I'm sure Google will come down. So UA is expensive. So can you go after a very, very competitive category today? Probably not. So pick a category that is smaller, less competitive, find something unique and grow. So we're happy to back companies much earlier in the category's life itself. I think third that we are very excited about is building for India, building games for India. And what's the biggest delta since like in the last 5-6 years is that ad monetization and microtransaction monetization in India is very real. We know of at least 6-7 media platforms in India that are $100 million revenue or higher. That shows there is ad revenue out here. If you look at BGMI or if you look at Ludo King, they have shown microtransactions. If you price them at the right ticket size, 10 rupee, 20 rupee, they can be very large sources of revenue. So are people tapping into microtransactions and building a large business? So we want to talk to teams who are thinking building for India using these two. And I think lastly for India, the other sort of alpha we are looking for, which is very important, is do you have an innovative GTM channel? Truth be told, while all this monetization is ramping up, LTV to CAC is still not at global levels in India. So thus, do you have an innovative GTM channel that keeps your CAC low while your LTV is ramping up? I think those are the three sort of elements of a studio that we look for, and would love to back more companies, either building for India or for the world.
Awesome. I think of everything you spoke, the thing that resonated with me the most is that India is a big test bed for gamers, because I think every time I open my phone, my kids have downloaded a new game and they're trying something new from Play Store, which brings me to the next one, right? Which is distribution platforms. And obviously Apple and Google are the big gatekeepers. But how do we believe that alternate distribution platforms is where significant value can get created for somebody building in this space?
No, this is a very exciting space, Vishy. Actually, both Mayank and I have spent a lot of time understanding this space, and also we are very excited to meet good quality teams in this space. And I'll give you some context, right, to your answer to your question. So there are multiple platforms today beyond App Store and Play Store which have reached significant distribution scale. So if you take platforms such as Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite, combined they have more than 600 million monthly active users, and they have developer payout programs. So these payout programs together are paying out more than $1 billion of revenue, right? So there are exciting opportunities for studios and platforms to build on top of these virtual worlds like Roblox, Fortnite, create games and experiences, and distribute their games through that. So circumvent any existing sort of channel of distribution and distribute on these ones. And globally, we have seen studios doing that. For example, there's a company called Waldex, there's another called GameFam. So these build experiences across these platforms, and both games and experiences, and monetize through that. We are also excited about new age platforms like Roblox or Fortnite, right? While this is the tougher play, we believe that there could be ways a platform could leverage any shift in technology, use that as a wedge, maybe create their own sort of game as an initial hook to engage audiences and scale from there, right? For example, Rec Room is an example globally which used VR as a platform shift to scale. The third aspect we're excited about in this is web-based distribution. Now, this is still very nascent and not many games have cracked it, but we believe that it is still exciting and possibly could be a lower cost to acquire users through a web-based distribution, right? So these three themes within this alternate distribution channels really excite us. And just to reiterate, Vishy, like very excited to meet teams who are ahead of the curve in this space, right? Who are thinking ahead of the curve today. Most likely these will be teams still in college and young, but we'll still be happy to meet them and fund them.
Maybe some of these teams could be in school. Like, I'll tell you, my son, he's 10 years old. He is a Roblox and Minecraft player. And a few days back, he came to me and said, I think it's about time I build my own game. I was like, okay, that's like way too early. But maybe there's a school team that we'll fund because they know this space more than you and I would ever understand. They play these games, they know what works. Maybe they'll build the best game that's out there.
That's fascinating. Let's move to the next one now, which is again a theme of opportunity for us in gaming, which is infra. What sort of plays do you see emerging out of India around gaming infra?
Right. So, Vishy, gaming infra is basically the picks and shovels within the gaming industry, right? So, I'll give you a few anecdotes again. So, one, gaming industry is becoming very competitive. So, existing game studios are launching new games at a faster pace, making it more competitive for a new studio, right? The cost to build a game is also prohibitive for any new studio. So, it almost, to give you an estimate, it costs probably $100K USD to $1 million to even build a game. And for an early stage studio, this can be fairly intimidating or high as a cost, right? And most of this cost is because of manpower and tech talent, right? Especially for studios building a slightly more complicated game, not casual, but more mid-core, then these costs become fairly prohibitive. Third, many complex features in games such as live ops, multiplayer, etc. Are becoming staple. So you are expecting that in any game that you try. So for again a new studio to reach parity with any large studio globally, it becomes more complex, right? So any tool that reduces time, saves costs, and makes the game developer's life easier, we are keen on. And that is the whole gaming infra space, right? And to give you a few themes that we like here. So within gaming infra, there are 4 specific themes we are excited about. The first one is using AI for contextual environment generation, right? This is more than like using AI for specific asset creation within game, which could be characters or images, but saying just using text to environment generation, right? So that again saves a lot of time and effort for a developer. Second could be plays around monetization. For example, there's a global company called Anzu, which does in-game advertising. For example, if there's a truck going down the road, can I put an advertisement of a familiar brand there, and you do the sort of infra for that, right? Third is again a co-pilot for game developers. So we've seen a company called Agentic globally, which does quality assurance for gamers, right? Today, if you build out a game, you need to hire hundreds of people to try out the game, find bugs in it, whatnot. But now, with the advent of AI, can you create 100 AI instances and test out the game, right? So again, that reduces time, cost, and effort for the developer. Fourth, we are very excited about modular backend gaming infras. So now for any new game to be built, a developer probably has to invest in matchmaking capabilities, real-time capabilities, any form of like leaderboards, etc. And all of these take a lot of time and effort to build. But there is an emergence of backend infra companies which give you this as a plug and play. So these are some of the themes we are excited about gaming infra.
Awesome. Which brings me to the last one, which is around the engagement plays, right? So, as I said, I'm a gamer, but maybe I'm betraying my age by saying I just can't understand the fascination with watching someone else play. How is it that this is this massive a segment, and how is it going to play out in the India context?
See, if you speak to gamers and their followers, this is their world. This is a world that they live in, which is equally important to them as their physical world. So they want to engage with people in this world. And who are the people that their big heroes are the best gamers? So like a Mortal or somebody they follow. They want to play like him. And sometimes they just want to watch. It's like a movie. This is their movie. They don't want to go watch Shah Rukh Khan. They want to watch Mortal play. So I think that underlying theme is what excites us about this whole area around gamer communities and creator tools and gamer tools. If you think about it, like right now, Twitch has 140 million monthly active users. There are about 90 million Discord servers out there. The largest game streamer in India has 35-40 million subscribers on YouTube. These are very real numbers, very big numbers. Clearly, there is demand. Clearly, there is opportunity. So, what are the things that over here that excite us? One is just platforms building engagement tools for people to come together and interact with their gamer. And you could use multiple wedges. For example, one of our portfolio company, Turnip, is growing very well. They use streaming as a tool. So they provide a streaming toolkit to a gamer. And that basically gets them onto the platform and their followers onto the platform. I think the second one that excites us is just tools for the creators. Like I said earlier, these are enterprises of the future. They need their whole SaaS suite out there to just run their business. So there is a company called Restream, which allows you to create a stream and then advertise it across multiple platforms. And I think the last one is sort of like moonshot goal. Can you build a Twitch altogether again? It's a very tough one. It's a very expensive one because you have to acquire gamers, the top gamers who are going to be expensive. You have to acquire their followers. And of course, there is an infra cost. There is a streaming cost associated with it. But if there's a company that has a unique GTM to it, or it's providing some differentiated value to its participants, maybe a new age Twitch could be built. And we are happy to actually meet these teams and jam with them and see if they're thinking this big goal out there, and we're happy to back them.
Awesome. I think that brings us to the end of today's episode. It was a really fascinating chat. I think it has reignited the gamer in me. I look forward to playing a lot of games once again, and hopefully some of them from developed by Indian developers and Indian studios. It also strikes an idea that maybe I should open up a streaming account for my 6-year-old kids. Maybe there's an opportunity there in monetizing. But I think another fascinating part of this was just the fact that that founder archetype or the builder archetype of this is so different from anything else that we might be looking at, right? So the game developer of today might be your 10-year-old son looking to build something on Roblox, or a 20-year-old sitting right now in his hostel dorm with a great idea and just the audacity to go build it. So if you're if you're a founder of that sort, or if you're looking to build or want to discuss a little bit more around your ideas on gaming, please feel free to reach out to our team. We look forward to hearing back from you. Thank you.